friend. Welcome to Softchords.talk. My name still remains Edu Pius Patrick, and you're highly welcome. We've really gone so far in this chapter. So, on this chapter, we'll be talking about major scales precisely. We want to go deeper into some of the concept in major scales. And understanding this will help us on how to play the piano. So let's get started. Now, what we'll be talking more on this is on the major scales naming conventions. The naming conventions in major scales. So we look at it, you see the diverse names you can call a particular note on the keyboard. And this is the aim of today's video. So pay attention closely, even as we have started. Now, what is naming convention? Naming convention is the name or names of the notes in the major scales. All these names refers to the same note, but are used interchangeably based on their purpose or uses. Now, we will know the notes on the Y keys, like the C major scale. These are the notes on the major scale, the C major scales, and I believe you know them. So the first note we call it C. The next one is D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Now there are other names for each of these notes in the major scales. Now we look at them one after the other. Now the first one here is the one you're already familiar with. Is a naming convention based on letters. The one that is based on letters is this very one we've been using. That is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So you either call this C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, just like we've been made known in the previous lesson that this key is called C, this is called D, this is called E, this is called F, G, A, B, C. So this is a naming convention based on letters. So you call this based on letters. Now, let's see the next one. Now, this one is based on degree. Based on degree. Now, naming convention based on degree. This is based on degree means in numbers. So each of the notes on this keyboard has a number representing it. Now, let's start. Now, we know that this is C, right? This is C, right? This is C, right? Okay. Now, on naming convention based on degree, this is 1. This is 2. Your D is 2. Your E is 3. Your F is 4. Your G is 5. A is 6. B is 7. And your C back to 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So that is all about the degree. So either call this C or you call this 1. You call this D or you call it 1, 2. You call this E or you call it 3. You call this F or you call it 4. You call this G or you call it 5. You call it 6. Or you call it A, you call this B, or you call it B, you call it 7 rather, and then back to 1 or C. Now, this one is a naming convention based on solfa, and solfa based on solfa means do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. So your C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, back to 1. You can call it based on solfa, and that is do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So this our key C can be called 1 or can be called do. This our D can be called 2, can be called re. This is our E. Our E can also be called 3 or it can be called mi. This our F can be called 4 or it can be called fa. This our G can also be called 5 or can be called so. This our A can be called 6 or can be called la. And this is our B can be called 7 or can be called T, and then back to do or C or you call it 1. Hope you understand. Okay. Now, naming convention based on technique. Yeah, technical names. Now, based on their technical names. Now, you either call this C, that is based on letter, or you call it 1 based on degree, or you call this do based on sulfur. Hope you understand that. But now we are looking at what we can call. You can call this tonic based on technicality. You call it tonic. This is supertonic. This is median. This is subdominant. This is dominant. This is submedian, leading note, and back to tonic. So we have our C is tonic, our D is supertonic, our E is median, our F is subdominant, our G is dominant, our A is submedian, leading note is B, and then tonic. So that is it for the technical name. So for each of these conventions, the naming conventions, they are used based on their purpose interchangeably. Each of these mean the same thing. You can call this C, you can call this supertonic, you can call this do, you can call this 1. Whichever way you choose to call it, it stays the same thing. But in musically, you don't use them anyhow. You use them based on their uses. The names are used based on their uses. So for the degree, let's start from the letters. Let's see when we are to use letters, and when we are to use degree, and when we are to use software, and when we are to use technique, and when not to. Now on letters, you use letter when you're telling the chords, the notes in the chord, or the scales, the note in the scales. For instance, our C major scales, we know our note in the C major scale is T, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So that is how is written the note in the scale or the note in the chord. That is what the letters convention is used for. Now the degree is used when we're dealing with progressions. Now you may not understand what progression is, but I'll let you know as we get deeper into the lessons. We'll talk about progression separately, because progression has its own chapter where we talk about it separately. So for now, just know that the degree is used for progressions, and those degrees are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, back to 1. That's what it's used for. Now the next one is sulfur. The sulfur is used in melody interval. Now melody interval is our last chapter in this series, so I will talk about it separately and I'll break it down for you to understand. But now just know that our sulfur note is used for melodic interval when you want to write down the lyrics of a song, the tones of a song rather. So when you want to sing a song, you sing it based on the lyrics. But when you want to dealing with instruments, you write them down as sulfur notes. Sorry for that. Now you write them down as sulfur note. Now those sulfur notes is do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Now that is it. So sulfur note is used for tones of songs. Now techniques. The technical names: the tonic, supertonic, median, submedian, dominant, submedian, leading note, and then tonic. These are the technical names, and these notes are used based on chords, on movements of chords. Now, these are technical names. They don't just use them anyhow. You have to understand the way around, and it's kind of an intermediary concept. So I might not be talking about it in this series, but it's good to have an understanding of what it is. So technical names are majorly used for understanding how chords move, when to move from one chord to the other. That is what the technical name is used for. Now, that's all we I have to tell you for this lesson. So I believe you understand it, and if you don't, no worry. Just rewind backward and listen to it again and again and again until you understand. So that is it for now. Have a wonderful day. My name still remains Edupius Patrick. Bye bye.